Boy, it is cold. Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Brandon back today with another video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to read your spark plugs and any spark type ignition applies to any engine in cars or small engines that run off of gasoline. So today, like I said, I'm going to show you how you can read them and kind of catch like problems you have with your vehicle. And today my vehicle is misfiring, as it's been for a while in one of my cylinders. But we're going to go and check all of them, clean all of them, and I'll show you how to do just that. Hey, what's this? Okay. So the tools you'll need, you're going to need a medium-sized ratchet. Usually a 3/8 inch drive will be sufficient. An extension, and a compatible socket for spark plugs. In this case, mine is a 5/8. Another tool you're going to need for this repair is a pair of channel locks. Get a fairly big one. Alright, so for sandpaper, you don't really need anything like high-tech or super gritty or super fine. I'd go something kind of like mid-course, like a 100 or a 150 and 200 if you really want to make it shiny. But, I mean, all of those will work. I wouldn't do 100 as much. I like 150, just kind of right in the middle. Anytime you're working on a vehicle, it is always advisable that you unhook your battery and or take it out. This is just to help prevent safety issues from occurring in case if anything were to turn over, start running, or So what might be tricky, you're not able to get it out with that AC compressor in the way. So really quickly, I'm going to go ahead, take out my AC compressor, so that way I can have easy access to that one plug. Alright, one thing you're going to run into is that your AC compressor runs off this belt, and that goes around the engine. So when I take this off, I'm going to have to loosen the belt tensioner, so that way this belt isn't so tight and it's actually loose enough to get this on and off. To loosen the belt tensioner, you're going to need a 15mm to get this bolt loose. To take off the AC compressor, you're going to need a 1/2 inch socket or wrench. I prefer socket in this case because it's much easier. Now when it comes to coolant hoses, I might use a wrench for that one because I don't really want to take my whole entire coolant hose off. Actually, I might have to, but we'll see. Okay, so with this one being a real pain to get to even with a wrench, I'm going to go ahead and take off my upper radiator hose. Hopefully there's not too much coolant in there, but I'm going to have a bucket underneath to catch it. Just as a hazard warning, don't let this go into the ground. It is really bad for animals and the environment, so always have a bucket underneath and make sure animals are out of reach. Okay, now use your pair of channel locks to undo the top radiator hose. Just squeeze the tabs together, move the clip back, and then pull it off. So you kind of just want to wiggle it and pull at the same time. Gently though. Might take a second. Alright, yeah, look at that gross stuff. Also note that after you do this, you're going to need to burp your cooling system. And that's basically just forcing all the air out of the system here to prevent overheating or anything of that sort of order that could severely damage your engine. Once you get the hose out of the way, you can stick a socket or another wrench down there and you'll be able to get it out no problem. Once all 4 of your bolts are out, this should be loose. They should all be the same size, so don't feel like you're going to get them mismatched. Go ahead and pull your AC compressor out. And now we can get to cylinder 1. Pull your spark plug wire out. This may be a little tricky if you have gloves on, but it can still be done. Give me just a second. Alright, so I got it out and our spark plug is in there. Now we just need to get our socket and ratchet down in there. Just as an FYI guys, I will be showing you more content as of when I'm taking it apart or putting it back together, but I don't have my tripod, so that makes this 10 times harder to do that. Alrighty, so back in the game, I have 1 through 6. And to be honest, let's look at number 1 real quick. Number 1, you can kind of see there's like a little bit of white corrosion on the tip there, or whatever you want to call it, the electrode, and a lot of soot buildup around the spark plug itself. So that kind of gives a little warning sign. Something's burning a little bit too much of, and it looks like there might be just a little bit of dirt in there, just by how much it's, you know, putting out dirt-wise. Number 2, these have been changed less than 500 miles ago. Number 2 looks pretty normal. It has that kind of like brown look on it. I'm going to look up and make sure brown isn't an issue, but it looks normal compared to the majority. 3, it's about the same. Just a little, you know, rusted. Not rusted, but, you know, it's got brown on it. 4 is same to be expected. Only one thing, though, that's making me worry is the electrode itself. So if you look at it, it's really short compared to one of these. You can actually see there's a lot of electrode left. Number 5, this one was replaced, and I have a different brand of it too. It's an Autolite 985 compared to these Champions over here. But this, you can tell, is absolutely just soaked. And I had to replace this because the cylinder was misfiring, and that didn't even help it. And then cylinder number 6, white crud and dirt. So, like I was mentioning before, when I first put these plugs in and I put a used head in, it started smoking like crazy, and it was coolant. So obviously that's where the white came from, is that I'm burning coolant here and stuff like that, and that caused a little bit of a problem until I fixed that. And I have a video on how to fix that. It's how to fix a head gasket in less than 15 minutes. Mine actually took me about 1, and I was pretty pleased because I was really tired of this thing overheating, and it sure did solve the issue. So go check that video out, guys. I'll link in the description, and let's keep on going. Due to the fact that cylinder 4 had a short electrode, I'm going to go out and pull the spare one that I pulled out from cylinder 5. I believe that spark plug still worked. It just needs cleaned up one more time. I'll show you what that looks like real quick, as it'll be a good example of a rich running condition. Alright guys, so we got cylinder number 5 right here. This is the original one with about 350 miles on it. This is just like all these other ones here, but this is a really bad one. So you can see it is soaked and it is black. I did try to clean this a couple times, so it's kind of faded on one end. Come on, camera, focus. But it is just all blacked out. Almost looks like it's no good. This is typical if you have like a rich running engine for a long period of time, but mine, with the TPS being bad, it was extremely bad. Note that I do have a significant oil burning issue, and that could also be the result of the black spark plug, namely the reason why there is brown crud all over the threads. So with nothing else to say about these, I'm going to go ahead and clean them up with some sandpaper and stick them back in. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the bad spark plug that I said had the bad electrode on it, and we'll just kind of use it as an example for how we do the rest. So right here I got some 150 grit aluminum oxide sandpaper. Now, it doesn't really matter what kind of sandpaper you use as long as it's half decent. So, anyways, I'm going to use my plug here, and I'm just going to go ahead and, wherever my camera is, let me turn on my flashlight real quick. This would be much easier. Okay, so that done now. I'm going to go ahead and take my spark plug thing, and I'm going to go ahead and then just sand where the electrodes are. And we're just going to keep doing that until both electrodes are nice and shiny. So what you're looking for is just a nice metallic look, and in these spark plugs you can kind of see that it's starting to happen right there, and then same thing on that side. I just want to keep going until they're nice and clean. I'll also clean the outside here, just kind of, you know, so that way if there's a problem with the vehicle and it starts showing right there, I'm able to tell what it is just right off the top of my head. Alright, that's good to go. Alright guys, the spark plugs are back in. As you can see, I have 1 through 6. If you guys always have trouble forgetting which wires go where, when I take out a spark plug, I always just kind of put the wire right back into where they would go into the head. And just kind of like let them rest there. Be sure not to bump them or let them fall out, because then you might get mashed or whatever. But anyways, it kind of helps that, because this style of engine is perfect for that, because these will just sit right in there. So anyways guys, I got all the plugs back in just like I said. While I'm out here, I'm going to go ahead and retorque all these valve cover bolts because I think a couple of them back there are loose and it's causing an oil leak. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's not an issue. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw my AC compressor back in. Basically, reverse of what we did earlier. Just make sure you have your, yuck, more coolant. Your radiator hose up and out of the way. Put that in there, put that one corner bolt in, and then just shove that back on there. So pretty simple guys. I'm gonna go ahead and put the AC compressor on, and I will eventually get to the belt part of it, and I'll show you like what kind of like tension is good for the belt. Alrighty, getting there. I just gotta get that one corner bolt in. Quick to mention to make things easier on you guys, before you tighten this bolt down all the way, make sure all these other ones kind of thread in correctly, so that way you don't have to like keep loosening it and adjusting it and playing by ear. So keep that one just a hair loose, move this thing around until these fall into their holes, and then tighten that one down all the way, and you're good to go. I mean, I would still back it off just a little bit, the slightest bit, to at least get the belt on and aligned, but it shouldn't matter too much. So anyways, you're good there. Once you do your radiator hose. So there's that. Make sure you put that clip back. Use your pair of channel locks to do that job. A lot easier that way than using your hands, because it's nearly impossible. So go ahead and do that. Make sure you finish wiping everything up again, and you should be good to go for that part of it. After that, connect and tighten down all the rest of your bolts, and then you'll be good to go for the AC compressor. Next thing up, I'll show you how to put the belt on. Okay, so with this belt being very loose after you had just rerouted it back around everything the correct way, you're going to go ahead and get your 15mm socket, your extension if you choose to use one, which I highly recommend. In this case I'm using a 6-inch, I believe. Stick it on there, have your ratchet ready, and then sometimes you're going to have to like do this by hand for a minute, but basically you just tighten her down until she's nice and firm, and I'll show you guys what that looks like here in a bit. Okay, so you've been tightening this thing for a while, and your belt should be really able to move. So you can see that there's very little flex in it now. So then you're done. But wait, there's one more thing. Notice that we need to add some coolant into the system, because this hose is going to be dry, as well as part of the top of the radiator. So we're going to go ahead and top this off, make sure it's working good. We'll turn our heater on a full blast, and we'll let it run for a bit and have the coolant circulate through. And after that, we should be good to go. As of the burping part, I'm not going to do that today on this vehicle. So what I'm going to do is, I've already kind of topped it off with as much as I can. I kind of jacked up this one side a little bit, so it kind of shifted all the fluid that way into that hose. But I'm just going to go ahead and start it up, let it run, warm up, do what I need to do. And I will see you guys in the cab. We're going to go run over a couple things real quick, see if the engine light comes back on. And I'll get back to you later with some more data on how this thing's running. Moment of truth. Running a little smoother. Okay guys, so as I'm running this thing, it seems to be running smoother than it was. So I think that Misfire is a little less existent. We won't know until we actually take it on the road again and kick it into overdrive and get about 55, 60 miles per hour. I'm not sure about the Misfire being all the way non-existent, because my needle still just barely moves up and down. Anyways guys, this is going to wrap up today's video. Give it a like, share, subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification bell. And that will help out the channel a lot. Be sure to share and get us some more subscribers, guys. And if you guys have any ideas for new videos, drop them in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is Brandon and Black Stallion Hacks. See you later.